few tools I consider to be must-have, since anything worth, investing in comes at a price. It does. I mean, if it's going to be good, it's going to cost something. And I never want to impose what you have to do in order to be successful in your author business. However, I'm going to share my go-to tools and resources for self-publishing. Find out what I use and highly recommend over the coming weeks here on this podcast. This week, we're going to discuss StoryOrigin. This is the author's marketing toolkit and service. Don't know about them yet? Well, stay tuned. Well, in normal instances, I would come on here and I would say, and this is still the normal instances, I'm tickled to death you took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little time with me to talk about my favorite thing in self-publishing. And then I say today's broadcast is brought to you in part by so-and-so. But since we're talking about a specific product, obviously I'm going to mention an affiliate link of some sort. That means if you use this affiliate link, a certain percentage of that comes back to me. All right. That means I'm financially compensated for it. However, I love me some StoryOrigin. So I'm not just sitting here expecting to have money rain down upon me. If you don't want to get it, totally fine. But if you do want to take a look at it, go over to dalelinks.com/StoryOrigin. I'm going to start things out hot because a lot of people I know always want to skip to the end. They want to go, okay, how much does this cost? How much does it cost? I know, I feel you. I've watched enough of these videos and YouTubers out there. They save the price point to the end, and I'm just guilty for this. But this time, I'm starting it out backwards. We're going to talk about how much it costs. The basic plan comes free. All right. Now, there are some limitations, and it doesn't have some of the features that I personally love to use. And I'll tell you what those ones are. And then there's the standard plan. Now, that's about $10 per month, which isn't too bad. What, 30 cents a day? It's not really too much. Or you can get it $100 on the annual plan. So if you pay in advance, it's $100. That's about $8.33 per month. That's what I did. And this is a huge reason why I decided, let's go ahead and tap into StoryOrigin, because I just got my year renewal that came in here. And it got me to thinking, because a number of people say, okay, you've talked about StoryOrigin, but you've never really done a deep dive on it. What exactly is it? What does it have in it? How do I use this? How do I leverage it? And there's so many great questions. With that type of investment, $10 per month, or even getting the $100 annual, you're probably wondering, is it worth the investment? That's a lot to put down, especially for some authors out there that maybe you haven't even sold a single book yet, or maybe you sell a couple of books during the course of the month. You're going to think, okay, am I going to see a return on my investment? Well, let's discuss some of the features, and you'll find out why I truly love StoryOrigin over their competitors, because there's some competition out there. Some tools like Booksprout or BookFunnel, or any number of them. Insta Freebies, I think, is another one. But the thing that sets StoryOrigin apart is not the fact that they just strictly rely on getting review copies. It's so many other features. Let's take this back a couple of steps. What is StoryOrigin? You've been a few minutes in this podcast and you're going, okay, Dale, dude, come on, get with the program. Tell me what StoryOrigin is. It's an author marketing and promotional management tool. Essentially, all it does is gives you the tools that you need to succeed. I'm thinking back to the days when I used to build out an advanced reader copy team simply through contacting my email subscribers and saying, hey, who wants to become a part of my advanced reader copy team? So that way you get a free copy of my book before it's released. In return, you just leave a review of the book when it launches. Well, it was a lot of stuff to manage. I had to, first of all, format the book like I normally do. I'd put it into a cloud service of some sort. And then I would make sure that the advanced readers would go ahead and get a link to that access as soon as it came out. Now, problem is, though, I have to then send an email broadcast out to all of them with that link. And then the next thing is, I've got to sit here and manage that. Hey, are you going to go and leave a review for this book? Hey, you're going to leave a review for this book? Oh, you're going to leave. And it just becomes just this never-ending battle of, it was a heartache. It was a lot of just hassle. And I know back in the day, I think my advanced reader copy team didn't get any bigger than, I would say, 30 people on my fitness books. It wasn't fantastic. With 30 people, you can anticipate with most instances when you're putting together an ARC team, about 30% of the people are going to leave a review immediately. Will the rest of them leave a review? Maybe, maybe not. It remains to be seen. So at any rate, you enter StoryOrigin. They handle all of that for you. Now, let's not be mistaken. This is not just a review copy platform again, but I do want to state it is self-service. It is not for paid marketing. It is not a done for you service. In other words, you're not signing up for StoryOrigin and someone is doing all this for you. Essentially, they just give you the tools to do it yourself, and you're going to be blown away at some of these features, especially the things they have for free, because a little over a year ago, StoryOrigin was actually what was in open beta, meaning that it was still being tested on, it was still being tweaked, and it was for free. In fact, you can even read my award-winning book, the Amazon Self-Publisher, where I talk about StoryOrigin being in open beta, but it's no longer true. It launched out of open beta into the full premium about a year ago. And of course, it came to that pricing that I have now, and it doesn't sound like he's going to increase that model. Let's talk about, first of all, the basic StoryOrigin plan. Now, this is the free one. So in other words, if you go over to StoryOrigin through my link here, you're going to get this free stuff. Now, in Evan's words, he said, if you've already got an audience or just want to track your word counts, then the basic plan is for you. Now, if you hear me refer to Evan, Evan is the founder and essentially the one-man show running StoryOrigin, but he does fantastic work on this. It's essentially all he does. This is his job. This is what he really prides himself on. And we do have an interview or two of Evan here on this channel on the podcast. So, and stay tuned. I'm sure there's probably going to be another one coming out with him soon. At any rate, they have integration with email service providers, about 9 of them to be exact. I'm going to go ahead and burn through these ones. ActiveCampaign, Author.email, Aweber, ConvertKit, Email Octopus, MailChimp, MailerLite, SendFox, and Sendy. Now I've got MailerLite and it integrates just perfectly. If you don't see yours, then just ask. The support is absolutely second to none, because when you send a support ticket in or you send an email in, you're talking with the person who is actually developing and building this tool. So the founder is super tentative to the customer's needs. So in the event that you see something that's missing, or if you see something that's malfunctioning, don't come over and beat me up over my videos. Reach out to Evan, because he's very responsive. If for some reason you don't hear back from him, there's something wrong, send a search party after him, because he is really good about returning emails. You can still use StoryOrigin if you have another email service provider. Okay, just keep in mind, you're not like left out in the cold. It just doesn't directly integrate yet. Again, reach out to Evan, tell them the service provider that you have, and there might be a possibility that he could get that integration. I can't promise that because he's the tech guy. I am not. All right, you get unlimited file delivery. So I think there's things like direct downloads and such like that you're able to kind of do for unlimited file delivery. Tech support for readers. So in the event that you have one of your advanced reader copies that are made through StoryOrigin or things like that, he will help walk readers through, making sure that they're still able to read your book if they're, say, for instance, doing a direct download. They also have something that's called universal retail links. Now, this is something I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to holler at each and every single one of you about on this one here, because I know some of you are still putting out your .com link to your book on the through promoting through social media or your email or through your website. The biggest issue that you have in sending someone to one single regional store is there's friction involved. So if I give you .com and you live over in the UK and you select on that, well, it's going to go to .com. It's not going to redirect for the person in the UK region, and it's going to look like they can't buy your book. Well, Universal Retail Links fixes that. Now, this is kind of cool because you don't need to spend money on StoryOrigin to use the Universal Retail Links. Here's the big bonus. I want everybody to pay closest attention to this. This is something that's recommended by Amazon themselves at Amazon Author Central, is get set up with the Amazon Associate Program. That way, when you promote your title, you can use an affiliate link, meaning that you're going to get 4% more per sale of your book. It's 100% above board. I have a lot of people that are like, is this black hat? Is this allowed? It's 100% allowed. It's even endorsed by Amazon themselves on Author Central. Use the Amazon Associate Program. Now let's go back over to Universal Retail Links and StoryOrigin, because they actually have integration with the Amazon affiliate tags. Now, a tag is essentially a way of saying like your name. So it'll be, let's say your store name is selfpubwithdale01. You would take that tag and you would include that on your universal book link. That way, when someone visits, say, .com or .co.uk or Australia or any of those other ones, you can participate in each one of those regional programs, use the tags there, and you're going to get 4% more. The nice thing is, all above board, it's completely legal. You are just fine in doing that. I highly, highly recommend, even if you don't use the Amazon Associate Program, at least you use the Universal Retail links. Again, you can get that through the free program for StoryOrigin. Don't even have to pay a thing. Now, it also has Facebook tracking pixels. I'm going to tell you this right now, Facebook advertising, not my thing. I have a tenuous grasp on it at best, but at least I do know what a pixel is. And a pixel is a way that you're able to track people that go through a specific link. And so then you can remarket and retarget that specific person. Next one, and the last feature when it comes to the basic plan, is actually track word counts. So if you're really trying to stay on track for getting your novel completed in the next 3 months or the next 2 months, they will help track that word count. It's a free tool, 100% available to you. Now let's go over to the feature that's going to be the premium plan, the standard plan as it's called for StoryOrigin. Now, essentially you get all the basic plans. So I'm not going to sit here and repeat a bunch of things that we already said. What we will discuss, though, is there are tons of other features when you go into the premium plan. And this is why it's just a marginal amount more to invest in $10 per month or $8.33, however you end up paying for it. The group promos feature. Now, group promos is really kind of cool because you can create a group promo or you can join a group promo. So as an example, let's just say there is a group of people, we'll say 6 people with the same genre, the same niche, same type of book, same readership and overlap, then working together is a smart decision when, for instance, you do a 99-cent deal, or maybe you do a Kindle Countdown deal. Doing these group promos, you work together with the other authors to promote this group promo and sell more books in the process. So it could be something massive. Maybe it's for young adult fantasy. Maybe it's for home workouts for seniors, something like that. But group promos is fantastic. I am going to tell you more about why I need to use that later on in this broadcast here. Next one is newsletter swaps. Now, not to be mistaken, swaps was actually used to a term that was attached to something negative in review swaps, which were fake reviews. Newsletter swaps, however, are good. I want you to think of it like collaborations. So much like what we did with the group promos, with newsletter swaps, we're working one-to-one with other authors. And what we do is we promote something they are trying to promote. Could be a deal, could be a book, it could be their reader magnet, any number of things. And in return, they go ahead and they promote something of ours. And it's all set up according to a date. You can actually promote yours on, say, April the 15th. And then the other person, they want to have that exchange done on, say, April the 30th. So you just go ahead and you promote yours on that day, and they do promote theirs on there. Now, the cool thing is, in the event, you're like, but hang on, can I trust this person is going to promote my stuff in their newsletter? Yes, this is why the email integration works so nicely. Now, in the event that the email integration isn't with StoryOrigin for whatever platform, you're still going to use a trackable URL of sorts that you're able to share with somebody where it was promoted and the results that it got. In the event that someone's not pulling their weight and they're not doing what they should be, it will reflect on their record. So that's to say that if you do any group promos or newsletter swaps and you're not pulling your weight, it's going to say it inside your dashboard. And eventually people aren't going to want to collaborate with you because you're not following up. So in the event that you're like, oh, I'm kind of worried someone's not going to follow up, they're not going to do the things they're supposed to do, StoryOrigin manages that for you. You don't need to worry about hurting kittens because you can sit here and look, oh, okay, this source right here. Hey, dude, what's happening? You didn't do my newsletter swap. Oh, okay, fantastic. You're going to get it now. All right. Now, the next thing is You get to collect reader email addresses. This is gold. This is nice, especially for instances like building out your advanced reader copy team. You get the email of the reader after they're done reviewing the book. So then you can contact them directly to let them know about any other, like, hey, you can thank them, or you can, get them to sign up for any future notifications on Advanced Reader Copy Team. There's so much stuff that you can do. Getting reader email addresses is just a game changer. And the fact that it integrates with your preferred email service provider is fantastic. Now, the next one, this is the one I really love the most and I've been using the most lately, is gathering beta copy feedback. Now, normally you would just send out, let's say, your Microsoft Word document and someone goes and makes notes, or they just write an email with some notes and such. But it becomes messy after a while, because if you have, let's say, 5 beta readers, you're going to get 5 different copies you're going to have to sift through. The cool thing about StoryOrigin's beta reading is it does it on one document that stays on the site. All the reader has to do is highlight something that they want to put a note on and say, oh, we're going to fix this, or this is a typo, or I don't like this word choice. That goes over on the right-hand side for me to read. And I can look at all of the feedback at one glance on one document. And then I can scroll down and I can see individual notes from each one of the readers. It was absolutely game-changing, even if I don't ever use anything beyond the beta copy and the advanced reader copy, the review copies feature. I'm happy. Like, honestly, I get my money's worth from that. It is really, really awesome having the beta copy reading feature, and I'm doing it with Kindle Vella, so that means that episodes are launching out. So in the event, let's say I get a beta reader that isn't pulling their weight, they're not reading the copies and leaving feedback, they won't progress to the next episode. So if they want to continue to read, let's say your novel, you'll give them 1 chapter. As soon as they've given some feedback, they get to go over to the next chapter and the next chapter and the next chapter, so long as they're leaving the feedback. And it will also reflect on their reader profile. So if they're not following through with their reviews or their beta copy reading, it'll say so. And with that being said, of course, you're able to vet review history and completion. I've kind of covered that anyways. You're able to look at each person's profile. Now, why is this so important? Now, you've got one thing that I believe is so fantastic is automated follow-up. So if you've got an advanced reader who is set to leave a review of your book, let's say on May 1st, they're going to be notified when it goes live on May 1st. And then if a review's not left by that point, another 2 weeks later, StoryOrigin gives another gentle nudge to let them know, hey, look, you didn't leave a review. Think it's probably a good idea you go ahead and do that. You don't need to worry about that. StoryOrigin handles it for you. So there's no need to hassle your readers. And the other one here that they also have is you can schedule newsletter content, never mess with that. And also a really good feature, because there's so many features there, is the tutorials tab. Click the tutorials tab. You'll walk through a lot of those. They're great videos, easy to follow, to the point. It's actually put together by Evan Gao, the founder. He's very articulate. You can understand everything he's saying. He's going at a pace that makes sense. And he is super committed to helping you understand and maximize the use of StoryOrigin. So just reach out in the event that you're confused or you find something's missing or lost. Now, there is an additional feature he has that's called guided setup. There's a possible setup fee, and this varies per person. You'd have to reach out to them. Now, here's a little bit of a bonus as we start to wrap up today's podcast. If you do get a StoryOrigin account, you can actually apply for the affiliate program that they have, and they actually give 25% commission for every sale that's made, and it's a 6-month cookie. So in the event that someone picks up a free access and they go ahead and upgrade to premium within that 6 months, the nice thing is you can get $15 to $25 per person that's coming in there. And it's kind of nice. So you can essentially almost get your entire year paid for if you had 4 people that signed up through your StoryOrigin account. Hey, normally, again, I'd say today's brought to you by the folks at blah, blah, blah. But again, we're talking about StoryOrigin, and my affiliate links, dalelinks.com/StoryOrigin. Go check it out. Definitely would appreciate it. And here's my final thoughts. My favorite features of StoryOrigin include these 3 items: review copies, Really makes it dead simple. It has a nice landing page. You give a person a link, they go on over there, they can download PDF, Mobi, or EPUB, any of those three things. And it walks them through and how to open it and what they need to do. The follow-up on it, spectacular. Beta copies. I went in depth about beta copies. Just having that feature alone was amazing, and that's relatively new, so I'm real happy to have that. And the other one I didn't discuss was audio review copies. Yeah, so if you've got an audio book and you have a ton of codes that you need to part ways with, they actually have you covered on that. So I actually had one organic reviewer come in once. That's not usual for StoryOrigin because usually you have to send people over there. For whatever reason, someone ended up getting a review copy that I really didn't promote at all. Features I need to use include the newsletter swaps. I have yet to tap into that. The group promos, whether a creator or join it. I haven't used the goals tracker, though I think I probably should jump onto that because I've been bad about my fiction writing lately. And then keep in mind, StoryOrigin will continue to roll out new features and improvements. So long as you're just offering that feedback and constructive criticism, I think that it's going to continue to get better. To get advanced access to all podcasts, folks, visit dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast 1 week before the auto content publishes. Yeah, you don't want to miss out on that stuff because right now we are recording the podcast live in front of a studio audience. Well, not a studio audience, but a live audience across the world. In the meantime, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale. Join me next week. We're going to be talking about my next favorite tool, Publisher Rocket. I will see you then. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.